Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I apologize. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm going to try to get through this without coughing too much. I think it's going around for sure. A lot of people are fighting something right now. So thanks for bearing with me. So I figured we would just pick up where we left off last month. I'm going to put the Jamboard in the link in our chat here, and I will share screen. So we talked quite a bit last time about language and things like does the word referral, has that off-putting to families? Also being clear that resources are available to all types of families, and that might be a short-term need, it might be a long-term need. So I feel like that's a good place for us to pick up and see if there's any ideas for work that this group could do or to elevate to the full panel moving forward. So I just put that link in, and then I will share my screen. So we'll give everybody a minute to just kind of review the board, and certainly if something has come up in the last month since we talked that you feel like we want to add, we absolutely can do that.
I think Mallory had talked last time about how, letting families know that even though you may be working, you still might qualify. And I don't know how to help spread that word. And maybe DCF will be spreading that word, but I agree. Mallory kind of shared a story, and I went through the same too, where my health wasn't good in between while I was teaching, and then I needed to take a year or two off. And one income supporting 6 of us was quite tough. And so I was able to qualify for WIC and a few other things that, I didn't know I would even qualify for until a friend said, hey, you should, see if you could qualify for these things. So yeah, even families that are educated and, have master's degrees, sometimes we still need this support. And we don't know that it's out there. So thanks for Mallory for sharing that story. That just reminded me of kind of what I had been through too.
So I will share that for the childcare subsidy assistance, we're moving on in our marketing plan from, the marketing, if you've seen any from DCF, has been on recruitment for childcare providers. We haven't marketed the changes that we made to our subsidy system as far as increasing the income to right now it's at 250% of the federal poverty level. We haven't marketed that yet, and that's the next thing in line for the marketing campaign. But that's just subsidy. I mean, there's lots of other resources for families. The other thing I don't see on here, and I don't know where we're at on it, is the work that I believe that the Children's Cabinet is doing for a new website which connects to 1-800-CHILDREN.
The All In for Kansas Kids website. So that's live. So that I can give you a tidbit. I'm not the lead person, so I don't know if I can answer too many questions, but so that was, you may have heard, Navigate EC was kind of the branding for a while. That has now been switched over to All In for Kansas Kids, just for the sake of keeping it consistent. It had a very soft launch earlier this fall, so it's available. I know they're working on adding to it, but essentially, like Nichelle said, it'll connect with 1-800-Children's, and it's kind of being designed as like the connective tissue for the system. So families as well as communities and providers, any type of service providers, it's kind of like a one-stop shop for where they can go for early childhood services or resources. So I think that's a great point as we're thinking about this. Like, are there opportunities there as well in other places to make sure that this language is really clear in terms of what's available for all families. So I'm going to put in blue anything that we feel like might be like a connection with the system, just so you can see my color coding system.
So the All In for Kansas Kids website, like if you look at it currently, it does already have, it has all the links to 1-800-CHILDREN on it, as well as to Child Care Aware. And my understanding is that is the way it will connect. And then in 1-800-CHILDREN, we will do a fly out in the 1-800-CHILDREN-KS.org website. We will do a fly out that also, suggests if you're looking for, I don't know how they'll word it, but with the All In for Kansas Kids link. Originally, someone had wanted to, when you clicked on All In for Kansas Kids, they wanted, or when you put in 1-800-CHILDREN-KS.org, they wanted it to take you to the All In for Kansas Kids page. And if we do that, then we have to create a new 1-800-CHILDREN-KS.org site and new marketing. So I think the decision was would be a better way, because then no one is doing that whole nother marketing campaign.
I think that's the main point. Like when we did the needs assessment, right? One of the things was that people didn't have one place that they went.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that we need to figure out who's going to do the most marketing. We still have multiple websites out there. And I know that, All In for Kansas Kids will be like a connector to other websites and stuff like that. It sounds like, right, in general. But I still am curious how much marketing is going to happen for that. Like, where are families going to go when they really have questions and help that they need? Who is it that they are going to go to first? That's why I like the 1-800-CHILDREN concept, because it just seemed easy for people. It's already been marketed quite a lot. And I think that's one thing as a system we need to concentrate on, is marketing one place that can get people where they need to go easily, that's easy to navigate, which it's easy to just say these words, right?
Well, and I think when we look back at what the needs assessment showed us, it was that parents don't know how they know there's resources, but they don't know how to connect the dots. So that was kind of the concept behind 1-800-CHILDREN, was that it's going to give you statewide resources. Really, if you type any zip code across the US in there, it will give you resources for anywhere. So I think that again, helps with that needs assessment piece. And we do continue to market, like the social media marketing obviously is based on what you search. And so my kids are grown, so I don't see our ads as much, although I did see them this week. And so I don't know if sometimes they're paid promotional ads, and sometimes they're just on our the KCSL Facebook page. So I did see a couple of them this week, and I don't know which version they were, but it was kind of exciting. We usually do a couple months on and then a month off, and then refresh and reset and do it again. So
Yeah, I love the idea of like the new 988 number for mental health. I wish we could come up with something similar for early childhood to say, this is where you go. And hopefully it will be maybe this All In for Kansas website or whatever, but how do we get that word out there?
I know at one point there was some conversation, and I'm sure this is not the first time this conversation happened, about like, could families opt into like weekly texts? So kind of like bite-sized versions of like some of the newsletters that go out, like the All In for Kansas Kids newsletters, or like even helping pull down some of the 1-800-Children's, like just resources, like just so that it's like a quick, you know, I think most of us probably get like some sort of weekly email or text that's like, you can kind of access it if you want it. So I know that conversation came up maybe a year ago, and I think it kind of fizzled out, but that I just wanted to bring that back up because I feel like that kind of fits into some of this.
I had never heard that conversation came up around 1-800-Children, so that is good to know.
Yeah, I think it was very much an idea. I think there was, and I don't even know, my brain is a little foggy this morning, but I think I don't know how far it got with 1-800-Children, probably not very, but I think that would be one question I would have about 1-800-Children is like, is that a capability for families to receive texts, or do you know, could that work?
I think that in today's day and age, probably anything is a possibility. I just would have to like think through, not necessarily think through that, but ask somebody who would know how we would do that rather than an email. So I'll put it on my list.
I think we'd want to think about what information would go out each week, because if it's just this is available, people are going to start getting annoyed with it, basically, unless we're giving out very specific like parenting tips or something like that.
And it might be something that you highlight as seasonal, like this time of year, there's lots of different food opportunities or coat drives or those types of things. So that might be.
So I would suggest that when we've had these kind of conversations back at DCF, we oftentimes talk about navigating the resources is hard, and families really do need that assistance. And that's one of the things about 1-800-Children, that, you know, if they're calling, they're actually getting that kind of assistance. So they're getting to the right resources for their family, with their family needs actually being looked at in more detail. So, I mean, I don't know, like Pam, I don't know, like how much funding their 1-800-Children's getting, but it seems like that's the model. Like, that's a great model, because we shouldn't just be throwing resources at families, right? They actually need help navigating, and that provides the assistance that families do need.
I agree. I think like people can get in and search that database, but it's always nice to have somebody to call, because what we find out lots of times is that people call thinking they need something, but upon having a conversation with one of our staff, it's not what they think they need isn't really what they need. And so then we are able to guide them in the direction of what they actually need. Does that make sense? That's a lot of needs in that one sentence, run-on sentence. But I mean, we do get really good hits on the database, but we don't get necessarily as many calls as we thought. So we would really like to continue to encourage people to call and kind of put that into our marketing a little bit more this year. Because I think it is nice to have a person on the other end who can give you some guidance.
And I know that's one of the concepts behind the Family Resource Centers, that they're trying to get more of those operational throughout the state, as that somebody can actually get that kind of, I'll just call it hand holding for lack of a better word, but that more direct assistance and kind of case management that they might need. So I think between between some of that work and the 1-800-CHILDREN concept and that work, that seems to me like a better path. But I do know that sometimes families are reluctant to reach out to talk to somebody, especially if the needs that they're identifying are critical things for their children. Like, they could be concerned that it might result in a referral to DCF, like lack of food, or if their children they're struggling with behavioral issues that are leading to like violence from the children or things like that, these are really sensitive topics where they need almost to have developed relationships with people to be able to talk about these issues. And if people don't have home visitors or others that know what resources are available, who do they reach out to, right? And that is another reason I like 1-800-CHILDREN, because it's not, tied to directly with an agency and people's minds. So I think that they're probably more open to discussing their issues with somebody. But I don't know how to develop that trust. How do we market and develop that trust? I think the marketing that's been done for 1-800-CHILDREN has been really good, as far as, like all families, things happen in all families, and reach out and we can help with lots of different issues.
Sometimes I think it depends on where you find the resource. Like if you, Emporia is a good example because they have like a school-based family resource center, and we trained their DCF and their school staff in 1-800-CHILDREN and downloading the app and the call line and whatnot. So I think sometimes if you get a resource from somebody that you already trust, the teacher, the school social worker, whoever, you might have that personal resource with, and they're able to say, this would be a great opportunity. You can call, you can text, you can email, you can just get on the database and search it, and then call for additional support. Sometimes I think that goes a long ways in helping families. And so, like, as we continue with our community engagement coordinator left, I don't even remember, over the summer, a couple months ago. I don't know. Time is weird. But we did just rehire. And so we're going to have, and she'll start the end of this month. And so we will be back to being able to really give presentations. Our supervisor's kind of doing double duty right now, and continue to make good contacts within the communities across the state, which then I think helps families or people that are serving families in those different communities more liable to refer people to 1-800-CHILDREN. So we're continuing to do that. And if anybody wants magnets, we have lots. We'd love to send you some, or pens, or anything else fun.
I was just thinking about that, Pam, but I need to start. I did a good job when I first got some of that, those materials, but yeah, just sharing those with like our local pediatricians. And I always think, where are the kids? Where are the kids and the families? And that's where I need to get that information too. So yeah, I might be reaching out for some more of those things.
I think childcare providers are a person who can share with families, who's really in touch with them on a daily basis and knows some of their, they're trusted by the families a lot. They can share some of that information, those magnets and things like that too, if we could get it to them.
So before Kelly Mark left KDHE, they did a huge mailing to every licensed childcare center and home across the state. And they sent some magnets, they sent some family engagement cards, and they sent order forms. And their plan is they did one blanket one for everybody. And then their plan is, as childcare providers renew their license each year, they will get a reminder of that information. So hopefully with Kelly gone, that will continue, because I don't know who's there now. I think I haven't paid attention. But hopefully that will continue to happen and continue to go.
That's something that we require of our state funded preschool programs too, is that they have their information in there and that they update. And then we have the information on how to get all the goodies to pass out to families too. KDEC conference is coming up too, and I'm wondering, would like a table at KDEC to pass out some of that stuff be worth everybody's time?
When is it, Natalie?
It is in February. I just got a save the date. Here, let me look real quick. February 23rd and 24th in Wichita. If you want, I can definitely send you the save the date.
Can you send me that and what the cost of an exhibit table is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
We have about 5 minutes left. Is anything that we've talked about feel like something this group would want to work on or kind of take back to their teams to be able to have more of a conversation about the next time we meet?
Megan, do you have the dates in the campaign for the All In for Kansas Kids marketing? Have you guys started working on a campaign or not?
I don't know. I'm actually going to get an update on that later today. I mean, it's live, but I can't speak to like what the outreach timeline will be and kind of what that will look like, but I can certainly find out.
I was just curious.
I think if there's anything this group would want to kind of recommend in terms as they grow that website, we can certainly pass that along. Is there anything else people would like to add for something that this group can start working on? Okay, well, we are due back in 1 minute, so I think we'll wrap up there. Does anybody want to share out to the group? Okay, I can do it.
Gonna say, I vote you do it.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that. All right, well, thank you all. I will see you back in the main room, and I will see you the next time we meet. Thanks for the conversation.